and welcome back to GavGoesIn. Guys, listen, I possibly had one of the worst night's sleep I've ever had. I couldn't even sleep properly. I was that pissed off yesterday. Yeah, man, it's just an absolute disgrace. I mean, that game yesterday was nothing short of embarrassing if you're a Man United fan. Um, yeah, man, it was, as I said, I couldn't even sleep properly yesterday. It was that bad. But here we are. I mean, this camera's fucking up as well. Sorry, guys. Yeah, listen. Big up to Lumi Rain. Big up to I Am Titanium as well. Big up to Exedra each and every time. And guys, obviously, when you come through, make sure you smash the like button and make sure you sub to the channel as well. So, yeah, yesterday's game, obviously, if anyone hasn't seen, obviously, the reaction from yesterday, tell you now, guys, I was fucking fed up, man. And still, I'm still hearing people make excuses for this manager. The reality is, no matter what anyone wants to say, whether this manager hasn't had his supposed players, it doesn't make a difference. The reality is, this manager is nowhere near the level, and he's failing. So that's all it is, man. That is all it is. So big up Lumi. Lumi says, my observations about Sesko being 10th pen taker is being widely spoken about now. When we won that penalty versus Leeds, Gyökeres came to the ball like a warrior and demanded he takes mentality difference. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not really too fussed about whether Sesko takes the first penalty, the 8th penalty, the 10th penalty. At the end of the day, he scored the penalty. That's all that matters. And the reality is, Manchester United should never have been in this position in the first place. That's the reality. So I'm not really too fussed about this whole debate about whether Sesko didn't want to take it. People might say it's a mentality thing. Fair enough. But as I said, I'm not too fussed, man. The reality is United should never have been going to penalties in the first place against Grimsby Town. And the fact of the matter is, as I mentioned yesterday, guys, and big up to Joaquin Phoenix and big up to the Joker. I know you guys have seen that film. Amorim got what he fucking deserved. And that was it. He got what he fucking deserved. So I don't really care about the whole Sesko, whether he should have taken it first or not. The reality is Grimsby deserved to win the game. And they did in the end. It should have been 3-0. Because let's face it, the Harry Maguire touch was actually a goal. So it should have been 3-0. So as I said to you, I'm not really too fussed with the Sesko penalty miss. I'm not, I Am Titanium says he's actually worse than David Moyes. Listen, he's the worst manager United have had. The stats are there. I don't give a shit about whether he's got his players, whether these players are not good enough to fit his formation, all these excuses that so many fans are trying to do for him still. The facts are, he's got a 23.5% win ratio. That is an absolute disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. And even Amorim himself will tell you that. So I don't give a shit about all these other things that people want to keep making excuses for. The reality is he's got a 23.5 win percentage. You're not beating League 2 Grimsby Town. And again, let's not get away from it. Yeah, there is blame that can be portioned towards the players. I'm not saying the players are absolved of any blame, because they are. They're the ones that are on the pitch. They are. But it's quite clear to me to see that these players are fed up of this manager. They are. It's obvious. The manager's probably admitting it now as well. The players are fed up with this system. They're fed up with this manager. It's blatantly obvious. And from reports that I'm hearing, is that they're looking to give Amorim till the international break. So I don't think he deserves to see the Burnley game. So for me, if the reports are true and he's got the international break he's got the Burnley game, and then they're getting rid of him, then fair enough. But I don't think he deserves the Burnley game personally. So yeah, it is madness, man. It's absolutely madness. Dalot was poor. He was, and again, I'm not even gonna go into Dalot because Dalot shouldn't be playing. as we keep saying, Dalot is a right-sided centre-back in this system, not a wing-back. But the manager is just stubborn and going to keep playing Dalot, unfortunately. So it's pointless to keep going on and on about Dalot, this, Dalot, that. The facts are, this manager, you know, has failed. You know, he's playing his friends. You know, the certain players he plays in the wrong positions. And this is what you fucking get, as I said earlier. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. As I said, guys, I've had a shit night's sleep, man. I couldn't sleep after watching that crap. Yeah, I'm just fed up, man. Yeah. Big up to the Royalty Master says, hey, Gav, after tonight, I feel like it's over and we need to think about a new manager. Bro, listen, his position has become untenable. It has to be. You know, you don't get beat by Grimsby Town and survive. I'm sorry. And Grimsby should have won that game 3-0. That game should have been 3-0, and then it's not even reaching penalties. The fact that that goal got disallowed gave United a lifeline. And as we know, United were always going to come and put pressure onto Grimsby in that second half. But it should have been 3-0. You know, if any Man United fan are being serious, it should have been 3-0 and game over. So the fact that this manager, you know, whether people want to blame the players or blame the manager, the buck stops with the manager. He's the one that chooses this system. He's the one that chooses these players, you know. And at the end of the day, he's failed. He's failing, you know. So his position for me has become untenable. So Ineos have to sack him. And as you guys can see, as the title, you know, Ineos, it's over to you, you know. And we're going to get onto Rasmus Hojlund and to Garnacho as well, because obviously reports yesterday that they're on their way. And as I said, get these guys out of there as well. But yeah, big up Royalty Master, man. But again, until I see, you know, obviously people have been saying that Ruben Amorim might walk. You know, I don't think he walks personally because he'll be losing out on money. So again, it's gonna be down to Ineos. You know, Ineos need to pull the plug today. You know, if they're saying they want to do it international break and give him the Burnley game, I don't think that's right, because these players clearly have had enough of Amorim. And who's to say United even get a positive result against Burnley? Because the thing is, I said United need to win that game against Burnley. If we can't even beat Grimsby Town, what hope is there for Burnley? Like, as mad as it sounds. This is the thing. Like, and again, you're going to have a negative crowd at Old Trafford as well. You know, has to be and nothing less than a win. But who knows, man? Big up to Gunners fan. Big up to Daniela Iacona. Big up to Barbara Joseph as well. Gunners fan says, bro, the Man United fans on Instagram were saying that they feel sorry for Amorim because he looked sad and he will know that he will not now start dominating. Yeah, but listen, Gunners, man, a lot of these Man United fans are losers. They are. They're absolute losers. Like, they feel sorry for a guy that is on a lot of money, for a start. He's in a privileged position of being Manchester United manager. You know, all these fans want to do is make excuses. You know, the way the manager crouches down onto the floor, he looks defeated. And the problem is that kind of body language there will send a negative reaction to your team, because there's ways to do things. If you're a player and you can see your manager is always on his knees and he looks dejected, that's gonna feed off into you. You know, he doesn't instill any kind of confidence. And if anything, he's letting the players know that, in a way, by his body language, he's letting the players know that he's not really rating them in a sense. But you're the one that chooses to send them out in this formation. You're the one that chooses to send out certain players, you know. So his whole body language is an absolute joke, you know. And when you're hearing that, when I'm hearing that Man United fans are feeling sorry for them, like, this is the problem. The standards at this club are at an all-time low. Why are you feeling sorry for a manager that's got a 23.5% win ratio, who's won 7 games since he's come to the club as manager? Why are you feeling sorry? If Man United fans were ruthless and held the standards up, you know, Ineos and even the Glazers would start getting things done. But you're feeling sorry for a manager because you keep saying we shouldn't be sacking managers. No, you should sack the manager. If the manager's not good at doing a good job, you don't keep him in place. It's as simple as that, regardless of what anyone wants to say. Again, I don't care about players, the players he hasn't got. You know, all you keep hearing is, yeah, all you keep hearing is, you know, maybe if he got the midfielder, maybe if he got the goalkeeper in, yeah. You know what it is? That is funny, because what they're actually telling you there is that really he's not a good coach. That's what they're telling you. Because if he needs to go and get a goalkeeper and a midfielder to play better football and get better results, the argument is he's not a good coach. That's the truth. They're actually telling you now, a lot of these fans, when they're saying to you that he hasn't got a midfielder or a goalkeeper, they're actually telling you he's not a good coach without actually saying it. Because I've never heard so much nonsense in my life. He hasn't got a goalkeeper and a midfielder, which is why the team are failing. That's not true. That is not true. I can guarantee you this now. You put any top manager in charge of Man United, and even if they're playing this shit formation, for a start, it comes with picking the right players. You know, he doesn't pick the right players to start with, so he's already on. He's already losing by doing that, by picking the wrong players. You know, not to mention this whole 3-4-2-1 system. You know, again, I'm gonna say it again. The system itself, you know, I don't like personally. You know, but the system itself isn't too much of a massive problem. It's the way the manager plays this system. It's the personnel that he puts in certain positions, which is why it's a problem. You know, if you're going to keep playing athletes over footballers, expect the misery to continue. I've been saying this when Mourinho was in charge. You know, Louis van Gaal is the only manager since Ferguson that played footballers. He's the only manager. A lot of the Mourinho's, Solskjaer's a different one because he shouldn't have been there in the first place. Ten Hag and now Amorim, they have a fetish for playing athletes over footballers. And if you keep doing that, you're going to lose. You're not going to get positive results. You're not going to play good football. That's a fact. You know, some managers overcomplicate football. They overcomplicate football. Football's simple. Just put the better players on the pitch. Simple. And it will work itself out. You know, that's not too hard to ask. Like, just put the better players on the pitch and it will work itself out. You know? Guys, come on. There's 26 of you in there. 6 likes. Smash the like button, guys. Let's try and hit 30 as a minimum today. 29 of you in there, sorry. Lumi says, didn't Amorim say last season he will walk away if he can't turn things around? Now is the time to walk, in my opinion. Yeah, but listen, this guy talks shit, this Amorim. You know, he's a contradictor. Guys, I'll keep telling you this, yeah? And I think this is going over people's heads, yeah? This is the same manager that said, yeah, Kobbie Mainoo is battling with Bruno Fernandes for a position. He has to battle with him in training. The fact that he's now under pressure to play Kobbie Mainoo because the media have pumped up the pressure on him because Kobbie's looking like he wants to leave. The fact that this manager takes off Ugarte, and again, Ugarte is shit, and I don't rate Ugarte, but the fact that this manager takes off Ugarte and puts on Bruno Fernandes to play with Kobbie in the midfield, he's a coward, the manager. He's a coward because he would never have done that if it was a Premier League game. So what he done that because it's Grimsby Town. Yeah? And that's going over people's heads. How can a manager come out and say, yeah, Kobbie's battling with Bruno for a position, but yet he brings Bruno on to play with Kobbie? He's a liar. He's a liar. That's what he is. He's an absolute liar. And he only done that to save face. Because he knew in that game, he cannot take off Kobbie because all the questions around it would be, Kobbie comes off again, you know, Kobbie's going to leave now because it's another game where he hasn't finished 90 minutes. Even though Kobbie was better than Manuel Ugarte in that game, but you've already told us that Kobbie's battling with Bruno. So why are you now playing Bruno with Kobbie? Yeah? And if that was a league game against, not even against City or against Liverpool or Chelsea, if that was against, let's say, Brighton, yeah, or if it was against, I don't know, Nottingham Forest, let's say. He doesn't play Bruno and Kobbie. So again, this manager's an absolute coward and he's a contradictor. He's lying to us. Yeah? He doesn't want to play Kobe Minu because he doesn't rate Kobe Minu that highly. It's as simple as that. I'd rather him just come out and say that. But he's lying to us. Because to play Bruno with Kobe now, all of a sudden, is laughable. You know? Mad. Niche fan says players have completely down tools. But you can see it. The players are fed up, you know. If we're fed up as fans, the players are fed up, you know. And again, these players are not absolved of any blame. I'm not saying that, yeah. But unfortunately, there's more players than the manager. And if the manager's playing a system, yeah, where the players are not totally comfortable in, what are you going to do? Keep doing the same thing and getting the same results? You know, I hear so many people say, oh, we need to get these players out. We need to get these players out. You know, you keep hearing the same old nonsense. Yeah. At the end of the day, some of these players do have to go. That's a fact. Yeah. But I'm sorry, when I'm seeing Ruben Amorim pick the majority of players that are not the best players, he's got no support from me. He's got no support from me. And these are the things that people need to realize. He consistently picks the wrong team, picks the wrong players. Simple. You know, these players that Man United have right now are much better in a 4-2-3-1. You know, but he's not going to change. And again, if he's not going to change, then he has to go. Simple as. So Ineos, it's over to you to get rid of him. It's over to you. Jay says, big up, Gav. How are you after that horrible result? I'm fucking fuming still, man. I had a shit night's sleep. I couldn't get my head. The thing is, you know what's actually funny, yeah? I went to sleep last night about 3 in the morning, 3 a.m. I couldn't get to sleep. I was just pissed off after the stream I done with you guys. I was pissed off because I'm thinking to myself, Man United are that bad. They can't even beat Grimsby Town. You know, I said yesterday morning in the stream, I said 5-0 minimum. They couldn't even get 3 goals. And they conceded 2. And it should have been 3-0 to Grimsby, let's be honest. So, yeah, man, I'm not happy, man, I'll be honest with you. And there's 4 days now left to this end of this transfer window. You know, yeah. I mean, I need Garnacho gone. I need Hojlund gone. I need the manager gone, first and foremost. Get those 3 out the club, you know. And in the likes, I'm not even going to crash it on Onana. There's no point because Onana's been made a scapegoat, you know. And again, Onana hasn't been great. But guys, what people need to realize, yeah, is that when you're a team and your team just concede chance after chance, and as an attacking outlet, your team are not creating chances, there's only so much a keeper can do. And again, he hasn't been great, Onana. And I'm not protecting Onana. But the problem is, you know, if we look at the bigger picture, Manchester United do not create chances. And if it's a case where United not creating chances, and then your goal is getting peppered left, right, and centre, there's only so much a goalkeeper can take. Because I can guarantee you this now, when Sene Lammens comes through, if he's in goal, don't expect much different. Because I can see him dealing with the same thing if this manager remains in charge. I'm telling you. So, it's crazy, man. Niche fan says, I think Ineos will sack him today if they have a spine. I wanted him to succeed so badly. Yeah, listen, they have to sack him today. They have to. Whether they will or not, I'm not too sure. Again, some of the reports I've been hearing is that they're gonna give him the Burnley game and then sack him in the international break. And if it's that, I'm not really happy because I think the Burnley game is a 3-pointer. Yeah, but am I confident of United beating Burnley? You can't be, if you're honest. You can't be confident. They can't even beat Grimsby Town. So yeah, it'd be 3 points thrown away for me if that was to happen. So let's just hope, man, something gets done today, before or Friday before the weekend. Let's hope. Grimsby Town once had a Pakistan English player. I think that might have been, was it Michael Chopra, ex-Newcastle? I think that might have been him, Michael Chopra. Could be wrong though. I Am Titanium says, I don't feel sorry for someone who lost to Spurs in the Euro final. But again, as much as Ten Hag, I couldn't stand Ten Hag. Ten Hag wins that final. This is what people need to realize. You know, when he lost that Europa League final, yeah, that was nothing to do with he hasn't got his players, the players down tooled, all that nonsense, yeah. That was clearly to do with the manager in who he decided to play. His substitutions were an absolute joke as well. You know, but people wanna ignore that. When you're finishing 15th in the league and you don't win the Europa League final, if he would have won the Europa League final, listen, I don't want him in charge, but I would have said, listen, it'd be very hard for people to start saying Amorim out because he's won a trophy, you know, and obviously that's a route getting them back in the Champions League. The money's there. So again, as much as I wanted Amorim out, if he'd have won the Europa League final, you know, I couldn't really say too much really because he would have had his comeback and saying, look, I've won a trophy. The fact that he lost the Europa League final and finished 15th, why they decided to give him another season is an absolute joke in itself. Because I've never seen standards so low. But the fact that he's lost to Grimsby Town now, he hasn't got a win in 2 league games. And there's people out there still trying to make excuses saying he hasn't got a midfielder, he hasn't got a goalkeeper. You're part of the problem. You are part of the problem. You know, and I'll keep saying that. I'll keep saying that. Yeah, look, exactly as Lumi says. Listen, the fact that Tottenham sacked Postecoglou after winning a trophy, it just shows you that Tottenham mean business. And look at it now. They've got Thomas Frank in charge, and Thomas Frank's a very good manager, and he's gonna improve that team. As you can see already, Thomas Frank has made Tottenham's defense more solid already, and as Tottenham, as we know, Tottenham score goals. You know, has Thomas Frank been given his own team? He's been there 5 minutes. He's been there 5 minutes, and look at the way he's got Tottenham playing already. You know, but yet people want to say Amorim hasn't got a midfielder and a goalkeeper. I mean, fuck off with all that, man. I'm not here for that nonsense, honestly. You know. Yeah, listen, the cost of Man United's players is worth more than the entire worth of Grimsby. I think Grimsby Town's were collectively, I think it was something like 3.1 million or something like that. I see. Yeah, something crazy like that, man. Yeah, something crazy like that. But yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Big up to Capybara Lover. Is this the lowest Manchester United have been in 30 years? Of course it is. Of course it is. I've never seen Manchester United out of my years of supporting the club. You know, I've never seen Manchester United this low. I haven't. 15th in the league, lose the Europa League final to Tottenham. You know, the manager has 7 wins, 23.5 win ratio, losing to Grimsby Town. Like, come on, I've not seen this ever. You know, and I'm deflated right now as well because it's like, it's just pathetic, man. It's ridiculous to see what's going on. It's ridiculous. And again, Man United deserve to get bantered. Like, if any rival fan wants to banter me, listen, you can't banter me because we deserve it, man. Man United as a club deserve it. They actually deserve it. I just can't understand how Man United can be this bad. You know, and the manager has to take criticism. He has to take criticism. He has to. When I can see that this team can be played in a different way, different personnel being picked, this is why I have to blame the manager. Because I understand you want to play this 3-4-2-1 formation, but at what point, Amorim, do you decide to change things for the betterment of you? You know? And a sign of any good coach, any good manager, is if things are not working, you have to have it within yourself to change things. You can't just be stubborn the way you are and think, I'm going to do it. It's my way or the highway. That's the biggest load of crap I've ever heard. You know, you've still got fans saying, if he changes his formation, then he might as well walk. Yeah, we'll walk then. Because you're not doing a good job. You know? If you're failing at something and you keep doing the same thing, are you just going to just keep with it? Or are you going to change something? Are you going to tweak something? You know, this is the problems that I just don't understand. Clearly, this 3-4-2-1 is not working. If you haven't got the midfielder or the goalkeeper right now to work this 3-4-2-1, even though I think that's a load of nonsense anyway, yeah. At what point do you think I might just change it for one game and see how it goes? Because if that's gonna mean that I keep my job or I pick up some points, maybe try that. The manager don't want to do that, you know, and this is what it's come to now. Sack him and get rid of him, you know, and get rid of a lot of these players as well. Big up to Joga Benito, the Barca. Yeah, listen, man, Barca, that's my second team, man. That's what you call a serious football club on the pitch. You know, they may have their financial troubles, but you know, you can always rely on Barca to play some good football, man, and do what's required. You know. Guys, big up yourselves. Come on, 27 of you in there and 12 likes. Smash the like button and make sure you sub to the channel. I think I'm 20 away from 1.5k, guys. So again, yeah, make sure you guys sub to the channel. Make sure you smash the like button if you're enjoying the content. Big up yourselves. I Am Titanium says, used to like Bruno, but he can't have a season like last season. He needs to focus on his game instead of telling others what to do. Big up to I Am Titanium. But listen, I've been saying about Bruno for years. I'm pretty sure, obviously, you've come onto the channel before as well. I've like the thing with me, yeah. I spot things very early, you know. And Bruno Fernandes was a massive problem when he first came through the door, because what it was, and as I said this yesterday, people looked at Bruno getting numbers, and again, I'm still hearing people tell me Bruno Fernandes is a number 10. He's never been a number 10. I don't know where this crap has come from that people think Bruno's a 10. He was playing in a 10 position under Solskjaer and under Ten Hag. Just because he plays in that position doesn't mean he's a number 10. He's never been a number 10. So when people are saying that Bruno's being played that position, no, he's never been a number 10. And not to mention, in this system right now, he can't play as a 10 because he's not good in tight spaces. He's not good in isolation. These things are common sense things. The reality is Bruno shouldn't be playing because he's not good as a 10 and he's not good in central midfield. That's a fact. So what do? You drop him. Simple as. And play someone else that is better in them positions. You know, the manager doesn't want to do that because he wants to shoehorn this player into the team. Bruno's been a massive problem ever since he came to the club because Jesse Lingard was playing in the 10 and these fans were fed up with Jesse Lingard and wanted a new player, a new toy. So Bruno Fernandes came in, you know, was getting numbers, but to the detriment of the team. The amount of times he was empty in the midfield, which left the midfield exposed, fans didn't give a shit about that because it was a new player and it was a player in Bruno Fernandes that they could use to argue against Paul Pogba. That was the truth. It was all about trying to put Paul Pogba in his place or downgrade Paul Pogba. You know, people don't want to talk about this, but that's the truth. Bruno Fernandes was nowhere near a level of a Paul Pogba. But Paul Pogba was forced out of this club for Bruno Fernandes. And now all of a sudden, we've got fans saying maybe it's time for Bruno to go. I've been telling you Bruno's been a problem for time. He's always been a problem. The fact that we had to watch Paul Pogba be ridiculed and be taken advantage of at the expense of Bruno Fernandes just tells you why this fan base deserves everything it's got. Again, whack him Phoenix. Whack him Phoenix, the Joker. You get what you fucking deserve. And this is what it is, guys. Because I was onto this for time. For time. Bruno's always been a problem. He's always been a problem. You know, his attitude stinks. The amount of times he tells players what to do, I've been seeing that for time. He's very much like Jude Bellingham. These guys are passion merchants. And when they lose the ball, they blame other people. When they give the ball away, they blame others. When they miss a shot, they kick the post. They start punching the ground. It's all this fake passion nonsense. I've been onto this for time. And now people are starting to see the light. You know? And for me, it's not even like groundbreaking now to be crashing it on Bruno. You know, I've been saying this for ages. And now people are starting to wake up. He's always been a problem. And until he's out, yeah, expect this team to do nothing. Because this manager will keep shoehorning him into the team. This is the problem. So get the manager out, get Bruno out, and get some of these players out as well. Gav, you need to check Saeed's reaction video. It's generational. Saeed, who's that? Is that Saeed TV? Yeah, listen, I'm on here, man. So if I get a chance, I might do. But again, Man United fans are going to be crashing out, like, and rightly so. This whole thing's an absolute joke, man. I'm telling you, the whole thing's an absolute shambles. Like, it's a shambles. Yeah, it's madness. Big up to Hanifi Demir. Big up to Okela Robin. Yeah, listen, we do need a manager. And again, let's stop this manager. He's meant to be a coach. Yeah? He's a head coach, not a manager. No, the terms change. He's a head coach. So with that word in there, coach, he should be coaching these players. When you hear people say these players are shit, you know, what it actually means is that this manager cannot coach these players. Because I can guarantee you this now, Thomas Frank coaches these players into a system that gets the best out of them. That's a fact. So it's a coaching issue, man. Sean Twed says Ollie back at the wheel. Yeah, listen, man, crazy. Entuck Eddie Young says, I think he needs time. The season is just starting. Allow him to balance. He didn't say he was going to win anything. He is still building his player, and they need to understand themselves. So from what I'm reading from that, Entuck, is not a lot, really. It's not a lot. So he needs time, which he doesn't. You know, he had a pre-season. He had last season. He's had this season. And as I said, 7 wins since he's come to the club, 23.5% win ratio, but you're saying he needs time. So yeah, I'm not understanding. The whole comment you've just made there doesn't make any sense anyway. But big up for coming on, man. Big up to DXR. Yeah, no problem, DXR, bro. Big up, man. Guys, come on, there's 34 of you, 18 likes. Let's smash the like button and sub to the channel, guys. Big up yourselves. Yeah, big up, Lumi. Alan Wilson's back. He's back. Jesus, you're talking crap again. You haven't got a clue. Who's Jesus? I don't even know who that is. So Alan Wilson says Jesse Lingard. Yeah, big up to Pragya Shandilia. Big up, man. You know what? Alan Wilson's a joker, man. Do you know what, Alan? Keep coming in, man, because you're here for the banter, man. I know you're not serious. You know, yeah, keep coming through for the banter, man. Bruno is not the problem. He plays for the badge. Well, that's the fucking problem. You know when you get comments like that, that is the problem. Too many of these Man United fans are passion merchants. They don't understand the game. If you think Bruno is here because he plays for the badge, what the fuck does that mean? He plays for the badge. Go and get the milkman from around the corner. He'll go and play for the badge. Does that mean he's good enough? When I hear people say this, yeah, it just shows me the lack of understanding about football. You know, and again, Alan, you're either a troll or you're either deluded. Because if you think Bruno's not the problem because he plays for the badge, you're part of the problem. This whole playing for the badge nonsense doesn't make any sense. Man United need better footballers on the pitch. It's as simple as that. If Ruben Amorim was playing the better players on the pitch at all times and the team were failing, I'd have more sympathy. He picks the wrong players and the players that he likes are not the best players. It's as simple as that. And the formation is killing the best players. But yet Bruno ain't the problem because he plays for the badge. Yeah, listen, you're part of the problem, man. Yeah, big up Lumi, man. I think Alan is on the packet, 100%. He's either on the packet, man, or he's half asleep, man. One or two. But I mean, playing for the badge. When I hear things like that, it's part of the problem, man. He's playing for the badge. Like, what is this? This is professional football. You know, he should be playing for the badge. He's the captain. But is that the best you've got? He's playing for the badge. Madness. Rishi says, big up Rishi says, Gav, what do you take away from Amorim's post-game interview? Rishi, the answer is I don't take anything away. I don't watch his post-game interviews. I'm done with this manager. I've been done with him since last season. No matter what he says, I mean, I've heard him saying that the players, I think something to do with the players weren't playing for him. You're damn right. You're damn right they weren't playing for you. They're fed up of you. That's all I've took from that. But I don't watch his post-game press conferences, nothing like that. I can't listen to this guy. I can't listen to him. You know, a lot of these managers are politicians, man. A lot of these managers, they just talk shit. As I said to you already, yeah, this is the same guy that said that Kobe is battling with Bruno for a place, which is letting you know it's either going to be Kobe or Bruno. Yeah, the fact that he brought Bruno to play on with Kobe, he's been lying to us, and that's all there is to it. He's lying to us. So yeah, I don't listen to this guy. I don't listen to him. Adam says the manager's not the problem, the players are the problem. Some of them are just trying too hard. Sorry, guys, I had to pause there because the manager's not the problem. The players are the problem. Some of them are just trying too hard. Yeah, all right, then. So the manager's not the problem. The players are the problem. So the players are the problem, but they're trying too hard. Guys in the chat, if that makes sense, then please let me know because I'm lost on that one, you know. I'm lost on that one. Yeah, let's move on. Matty Fletcher says, guys got no confidence out of the fans. I don't want to say it, but it did take Fergie 7 years. Yeah, Matty, this ain't Fergie time, man. This ain't Fergie's era. We're in a different era now. We're in the 2000s now, man. This is not the Fergie era. We're in the Fergie era. Like, to be saying it took Fergie 7 years, you know, so what? So what? Like, I've told you guys this already from yesterday. If you run a business, yeah, and you've hired a manager to get the best out of your business and he's losing you money left, right, and center, yeah, and he's not performing to the best of his standards, yeah, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep him in charge for 7 years and keep losing you money? Or are you going to sack his ass now? Answer yourself that question. It's as simple as that, man. I don't want to be hearing nothing else. Like, when people come out with these things about it took Fergie 7 years, if you're running a business, are you going to keep him in charge for 7 years if he's losing you money? Simple. So Matty says, Bruno is a problem because he's playing CDM. Yeah? Again, another fan that doesn't understand football. And you know what? I don't mean to be disrespectful. Well, actually, I do. I do, because I'm sick and tired of this now, yeah? Matty, you just said Bruno's a problem because he's playing the CDM, yeah? Which is central defensive midfielder. Matty, newsflash, yeah? Manchester United do not play with a CDM, you know? And again, this is what's frustrating, yeah? Because you get a lot of fans that come on and a lot of fans actually think they know what's going on, yeah? Matty, the fact that you think Bruno's playing CDM is actually alarming. And I'll tell you why, yeah? There's only a CDM if you're playing in a different formation. If you're playing a 4-3-3 and you've got a slightly withdrawn midfielder that plays in front of the back four, that is a CDM position. Yeah? You don't have a CDM in this team because the two in midfield are not CDMs. CDM stands for central defensive midfielder. But in this 3-4-2-1, you're not playing with CDMs. Bruno's playing as a deep lying midfielder. Whether Amorim wants him to get on the ball and dictate, or he's a box-to-box midfielder. This system doesn't have a CDM. You know, and this I'm trying to say to you, yeah? People need to understand systems, formations, and where players play. Man United don't play the CDM. Because the CDM would come. Look at, I'll give you an example, yeah? Look at Barcelona and Real Madrid. You know, in the when they had the likes of Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta. Barca played a 4-3-3, yeah? With Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi, Messi, Neymar, Suarez, yeah? Busquets played as the DM. Why? Because Busquets was playing in front of the back four. He played as a central defensive midfielder. If you look at Real Madrid, when they had Casemiro, Toni Kroos, and Luka Modric, you know, and had the front three of Bale, Ronaldo, and Benzema. Casemiro played as the CDM, central defensive midfielder. Yeah, patrolling in front of the back four. So when you're saying Bruno's playing as a CDM, that's factually incorrect. He's not playing as a CDM. Yeah, not to mention, Bruno is not a 10 either. Bruno is a number 8 central midfielder, box to box in a 4-3-3. That is what he is. So again, when you're coming on this channel and you're coming out with stuff, at least check what you're going to say. Because what you're saying there is incorrect. He is not playing as a CDM. Even Casemiro isn't playing as a CDM in this system. Neither is Kobe Manu. Because this system doesn't have a CDM. They're not CDMs. Simple. Alan says, who better than Bruno in the team? Who better than Bruno in the team? Well, where should I start? Where should I start? If you're talking about this formation here, yeah, and you want to play Casemiro and Kobe Manu together in there, you got a Casemiro, you got a Manu, you know, or change the system. How about that? I wouldn't play Bruno in the 10 either. So, again, Man United need another midfielder. We all know who they need. Carlos Baleba, Eduardo Camavinga for me. And then go and get an Adam Wharton next season. We know that. But for what he's got right now, he doesn't have to shoehorn Bruno Fernandes into the team. So Alan's saying a lot of the team are trying too hard. But again, Alan, you come on there and told us that the players... What did you say earlier? Let me check it. Because it was nonsense what you said, but let me check it. So you said the players are the problem, but they're trying too hard. Does that make sense, Alan? Big up to Guru Vayurapan. Yeah, big up. From Kerala. Big up. So Matty says, do you honestly think Ruben is the problem? Yeah, I do. I do. You know, tell me why you think he's not the problem, rather than just say the players. Because that whole it's the players talk makes no sense. It doesn't. You know, it makes no sense. Amorim is clearly the problem. Because I tell you this now, you go and put any manager in charge right now, and they change this formation, they change the system, yeah, or they just play the better players. You get more. You would get better results. You would better performances. It's a fact. Keegan Snacks says, how many managers do you want to employ and fire before you realize that it's not the manager, it's higher up? Keegan Snacks, you keep firing the manager until you bring someone in that does the job. It's as simple as that. As I said earlier, if you've got a business and you hire someone and he's not doing a good job, are you going to keep him in charge regardless if you're losing money? Simple as that, man. Stop talking nonsense, please. So Lumi says, Bruno is technically the most talented player, but the team dynamics is so much worse for him being there. Big up to Lumi, man, one of the mods. Lumi, big up to yourself each and every time. Bruno is not the most technically talented. He's not. Like, this is nonsense as well. And again, Lumi, you're here every day, man. So, you know, you're usually coming in with the top comments, the top questions. But I disagree with this. Bruno is not technically the most talented player. He's not. He's not. I don't know where that nonsense has come from. Amad Diallo is technically better than him. Joshua Zirkzee is technically better than him. Matthias Cunha is technically better than him. This whole Bruno is technically better. I'm not sure what that's based on. What is that actually based on? It's not based on anything. What? Because he can play a couple of passes a game that finds their man. That makes him technically good. No, it's not. You know, but big up yourself each and every time, Lumi. Big up to the Joker says, Amorim's system is a problem. How can a club like United let an unproven gaffer change the whole system and playing culture of the club? Big up. Great question. Great comment. Again, as I said, I think it's one of them things where Ineos probably identified him, you know, and again, it might have, who knows, guys, yeah? How do we know that Ineos probably might have thought to themselves, this manager wasn't going to go to a three at the back? You know, who knows? Because if they think that, if they knew this manager was coming there strictly to play a three at the back, then I don't know, man. I don't know. But I'll keep saying this again. The system and the formation itself isn't a massive problem. It's how the manager, Amorim, or the coach, decides to use this system, which is the problem. You know, it's the players he picks in that system, which is what the problem is. You know, and as I said, at what point does he think maybe I should try and tweak something or change something for the betterment of him? Guru of Europan says Cristiano was right. He was. He called him a poet. He's being proved right. Big up to Mr. M. Matty Fletcher says it's both though, bro. You can't just keep switching managers. You can. You can. Look at all the most successful teams around the world. They're the ones that have been the most successful from by sacking managers. I'll keep telling you the same thing. Are you gonna keep someone in charge if he's failing? It's as simple as that. Matty Fletcher says holding /CDM. Don't be pedantic. No, it's not about being pedantic, yeah? It's about understanding what you're talking about. You when you're coming on here saying that Bruno's playing CDM, you don't even understand the role of the position of a CDM. You don't, it's clear. Because if you think Bruno's playing CDM in this position, in this team doesn't have a CDM because it's the wrong formation for that. So it's not about being pedantic, it's about understanding what you're actually saying. I'll say it again. Any team that plays with a midfielder playing in front of the back four, that is a CDM. That's why it's called central defensive midfielder, because it means they're patrolling the back four. Bruno's not playing CDM. Casemiro's not playing CDM. Ugarte's not playing CDM, because this formation doesn't have a CDM. So again, it's not being pedantic. It's about understanding when you're saying certain things, which you haven't, you know. Big up to United Central says, Amorim isn't losing the club money. He needs to go so we can see progression this season. But then again, we still have the same dross players who have let us down for years. Yeah, big up to United Central. But as I said, man, Amorim's position for me has become untenable. It clearly has, you know. If he's coming out saying the player's not really playing for him or whatever he said, then again, that falls on you, Amorim, as a manager. You know? And again, some of these players are poor. The likes of ones that have been there for years. Anana, Bayinde, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, Manuel Ugarte, Hojlund and Garnacho who have gone. Those guys are shit. There's no denying that, yeah? But I'm sorry, the manager is not doing a good job with this team. He's not. He was brought in as a coach to coach players to be better. He's not doing that. He's failing. So this is what it comes down to. You know, I wouldn't even mind, yeah, if he was playing the better players or if he was at times thought to himself, do you know what? Maybe I need to try kind of tweak this. He ain't doing anything. And the Grimsby last night was the last straw. How can I come on in the morning and say I expect 5 goals minimum? How can I come on and say that? Like, it's embarrassing. I'm thinking, you know, this manager's not great, but come on, this is Grimsby Town. If he can't get 5 goals minimum against Grimsby Town, because I'm telling you this now, if Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea play Grimsby Town, I can guarantee this for a fact, 5-0 will be a minimum. Man United can't even get 3 goals against Grimsby and keep a clean sheet. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. So Matty says, watch the game, buddy. You must be blind. Again, Matty, you don't understand, man. Like, it's okay. It's okay, man. You don't understand. Like, I'm trying to say to you now that Bruno's not playing as a CDM and you ain't got no comeback. It's okay, man. Like, you know, football chatting for everyone. You know, if you don't understand the game, then fair enough. Because you're probably one of them fans as well that thinks Bruno is a number 10. Newsflash, he's not a number 10. You know, if you know your football, you would know he's not a number 10. He has number 8 on his back and has number 8 tattooed on his arm for a reason. Number 8 is a box-to-box midfielder in a 4-3-3. So the manager's actually doing Bruno a disservice as well. But the fact that you think Bruno's a 10, that I'm guessing as well, or a lot of fans think that, he's not a number 10. And he's not playing CDM either. Rishi says Bruno couldn't run a bath, let alone a team. Yeah, listen, man. The fact that he's captain, and I said this from the start, how can you have Casemiro, yeah, who's won what? 5 Champions Leagues, massively experienced, the most experienced player in the squad. How can he be captained by Bruno Fernandes, who's won absolutely nothing? Like, it's embarrassing, man. Yeah, big up Sham, man. Big up, man. It's embarrassing, man. How can you have Bruno Fernandes captaining Casemiro? That's where the alarm bell should have started ringing. Bruno Fernandes was captaining Casemiro, captaining Rafael Varane. These 2 players were at Real Madrid, being captained by the likes of Sergio Ramos, a real leader, a real winner. But they're being captained by Bruno Fernandes, who's done nothing in his career. Like, the whole thing's a joke, man. The whole thing's a joke. Yeah, big up Lumi, man. Listen, Matty, you might have your opinion, yeah? But as I said, you know, I'm not asking you to agree with me, but when I'm saying certain things, yeah, I'm saying it from, as Lumi has said, from experience of playing, watching, and coaching. And as I said to you, when you're saying Bruno's a CDM, you know, you're saying I'm being pedantic. I'm not. It's just that you're not understanding what a CDM is. Like, and to think that if you think that Bruno is playing as a CDM in this system, he's not, because this system doesn't have a CDM. You know what I mean? And as I said, I've given you examples of Barcelona and Real Madrid. That's the fact, you know? Big up to Ghostface 2. Yeah, big up to Rishi, man. Any fan that looks at GA as an argument for a player, it usually means that, you know, that player's shit, really. There's no player that should be used for any top player that you can think of, yeah? The first thing that we talk about is not GA. You know? Look at Lamine Yamal, for instance, 18 years of age, yeah? There's no way that I look at Yamal and talk about GA. Just look at the player himself and just look at what he's got. You know? GA should be secondary. It should be used as a bonus, you know, when the player's actually performing. But all fans do is use Bruno Fernandes' GA as a way of trying to put him in a conversation against others. That's all it is GA, you know. And the media and Sky Sports have a big what do they call it? They have a big they have a big thing about doing this with Bruno Fernandes as well. Because if you look at the first game of the season against Arsenal, what's the first thing they showed? Bruno's GA. And again, to millions of people watching that game, they're going to be looking at Bruno thinking, oh shit, he got all that GA. And this is the problem. When they're putting GA in your face, if you can't think for yourself, you would think that Bruno Fernandes is one of the best players in the world. GA doesn't mean that. You know what I mean? I watched every game last season, and for the majority of it, he was poor. But all people care about is GA. You know, it's ridiculous. Yeah, listen, we all know Baleba should be signed. Whether United get that over the line, I'm still going to be 95% confident that it happens because it has to happen. But the bigger picture for me is getting this manager gone. That's the bigger picture. That is the bigger picture for me. Right, I'm going to go through all your comments and then we're going to get on to the Garnacho and Rasmus Hojlund. Yeah, big up to Rishi, man. Big up, bro. Big up for coming on, man. Have a good day. Big up to Niche fan, says Xerxes the most technically talented, then Cunha and then Mainu. Yeah, Ahmad's in there as well. Ahmad's in there. Big up to Niche fan. But as I said, I think people think Bruno's the most technically gifted because he sprays a few passes around the pitch. Because he ain't the most technically gifted. He's not. Like, he clearly isn't. You know what I mean? So Lumin says, Gav, I based that on his technical attributes and the stats on his goals and chance creation. Yeah, big up to Lumi, man, each and every time. But again, the chance creation, as I mentioned yesterday, is an absolute lie. Because, you know, if you guys didn't know already, if Bruno's on every corner, every free kick, every penalty. So again, from corners and free kicks, regardless of how bad the ball is, if a Man United player gets his head to the ball or a foot to the ball, that gets counted as a chance created for Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. So again, these stats are not true stats of the player. You know, his stats shouldn't be used for his technical attributes as well. Again, when I'm talking about technical attributes, you know, is he good in is he good at short and long passing? Not really. He's not. Has he got a great shot on him? Not really. Under pressure, he hasn't. You know, obviously, if he's got loads of time on the ball, then you'd expect him to have a good shot, just like anyone. Yeah. But in terms of weight of pass, in terms of being good in tight spaces to use his technical attributes or his dribbling, he hasn't got that. You know, has he got a great first touch? Not really. You know, all these things come into it. You know, and as I said, Amad Diallo, Joshua Xerxes, Matthias Cunha, you know, those three players there, even Kobe Mainu as well, those four players there are better technically than Bruno Fernandes. I don't care, you know, some of the shots he hits or the passing. That doesn't mean he's better technically than them players. Because again, a lot of these things are subjective anyway. You know, but to say that he's the most technically talented player in the team, he's not. He clearly isn't, you know. But big up Lumi each and every time, though. Each and every time. Big up to Jay as well. Asmodeus Tundra says, bro, Jose got your lot of rabble, second place, and won things, and you let him go. Your club doesn't understand they are not a club anymore. The culture is rotten. Yeah, we know we know the club is rotten. That's not the problem. But so what does that mean? You keep this manager in charge because of what? The club's rotten? No, he ain't doing a good. If Amorim was doing a good job, then he'll get more grace. But the facts are he isn't doing a good job. So to say that Jose got second place out of this team, and what does that? That means nothing. The facts are the manager isn't doing a good job. End of story. Doesn't matter what anyone says. He's not doing a good job. He's failing. But again, Arsenal Pakistan cricket team says Mainu went from starting a Euros final to being a bench player at Man United. He's a bench player because of this system. And as I said to you guys earlier, this is the same guy that said that that Kobe's battling with Bruno for a spot, which basically means Kobe's not going to play because he's going to keep playing Bruno. So the problem is now is that he plays Bruno with Kobe against Grimsby Town. And I know for a fact, if that was against Man City or Chelsea or Liverpool, he won't do that. So really and truly, he's taking the piss by doing that. He's taking the piss. And as Niche fan says, great comment. You simply have to play through the best players. Xerxes, Ahmad, and Mainu must always start. 100%. If you put the best players on the pitch, they're going to work it out. And for too long with Manchester United, the worst players play. That is a fact. This has been happening since Mourinho's days. Mourinho done the same thing. Solskjaer done the same thing. Ten Hag and now Amorim. To think that Ten Hag played Garnacho, Hojlund and Rashford as a front three is criminal. It's criminal to be doing that, you know. And big up to Niche Fan. Niche Fan says it. There is no CDM in a 3-4-3. And again, Man United are not playing a 3-4-3. They're playing a 3-4-2-1. The reason it's a 3-4-2-1 is because they're playing with a left 10 and a right 10. Again, the fact that this manager plays Bryan Mbeumo as a right 10 is idiotic. Some fans might think, yeah, oh, Mbeumo's playing on the right, he's in the team. But you're not understanding. Mbeumo has never played as a 10. He's a winger. The closest position to a winger is wingback. Yeah? The fact this manager plays Mbeumo as a right 10, that isn't his position. It's not. Ahmad is more suited to playing as a right 10 than what Mbeumo is. And again, they're playing a 3-4-2-1, not a 3-4-3. And as Niche Fan has just said, there's no CDM in the 3-4-3. Why is that? Because you're playing with two flat midfielders, you know, and two two wingbacks. The 3-4-2-1, you're playing with two wingbacks and two flat midfielders. A 4-3-3, you can play with a CDM because you can play with a slightly withdrawn midfielder. If you're playing a 4-2-3-1, you play with a number 10. So that means there's no CDM really. There's deep lying playmakers or midfielders. So again, that's one for you there, Matty. Big up to Kurt MCG. Man, you are not a big club anymore. Yeah, listen, I can't even disagree, man, at the moment. Club's broken, man, big time. Big up to Arsenal and Pakistan cricket team. Right, guys, I'm just gonna go through some of your questions and comments. If I don't get onto everyone's questions and comments, big up for it as well. But again, I want to touch on Hojlund and Garnacho. So I'm only gonna go to the ones that stand out. So Dugout Dan says, man has been in charge for less than a year and you want him gone crazy. Again, Dugout Dan, like, I don't know what you're talking about really. You know, I told you yesterday, you know, if you're running a business, if you're running a business and you employed someone that's been there for 6 months and he's losing you money left, right and center, are you going to keep him in charge? Answer the question. Don't just come out with this nonsense and don't answer. Because you come out with this nonsense last night and it didn't make any sense. Not even now. And Dugout Dan says, you know what makes me laugh, yeah? Plus, it was his third choice striker he bought this summer. And this is where I'm going to shut this nonsense down, yeah? This is where I'll shut this nonsense down. So, throughout the whole summer, the majority of this fan base wanted Victor Gyökeres. I didn't want Gyökeres. You know, he's at Arsenal now. Thank God. I didn't really rate Gyökeres, yeah? And a lot of fans were saying they want Gyökeres because Gyökeres guarantees goals. He gets 30 goals a season. This is what a lot of fans were saying, yeah? To think now that they pivoted towards Benjamin Sesko, who scored 13 Bundesliga goals. A lot of the same fans that were saying they wanted Gyökeres because Gyökeres gets goals, now pivoted towards Sesko. You know, the whole thing's laughable because all of a sudden now, 13 Bundesliga goals is acceptable. And again, Sesko for me, I didn't want Sesko. I've never hid that opinion. I didn't want Sesko. But a lot of fans were coming out saying they wanted Sesko in the end. Why? Why did they want him? Because surely it can't be because of goals. The fact that Sesko's come in and Hojlund's going out, I'm not too fussed now because I was more concerned that then bringing in Sesko with Hojlund, yeah? But if he's the one that's pushed Hojlund at the door, then so be it, yeah? But again, when you're saying dugout Dan, it was his third choice striker, a lot of these fans wanted Sesko in all of a sudden now. So this is what I'm trying to say to you. A lot of these fans don't really know what they want. They don't really know what they want. You know, it's just excuses for excuses' sake. The facts are, this man just failed. And he'll continue to fail. Big up to Waka. Guys, listen, if there's anyone that has football talk, then mods, don't block them. And only block them if they're being disrespectful, if they're being rude or racially abusive. But if they have their footballing opinion, let their opinion be seen. And again, I'll counteract it. Because again, it's about time a lot of fans wake up. That's the problem. Yeah, big up to Lumi. Perfect. Hazard is a great example of why GA should be secondary. He had so much success for Chelsea, yet some fans think Salah is better because of GA. Again, but the fans that think Salah is better than Hazard, these guys are not football fans, really. They're not really football fans, I'd say, because there is no way people should be saying Salah's better than Eden Hazard, because he's clearly not. If we're talking about GA, then again, like, Salah's got better GA than Hazard. But GA shouldn't be used as a way of saying that a player is better than another player. It's not. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but big up, man. Big up, Lumi. Dugout Dan says, you'd be one of them fans that if you had seen Sir Alex in them first 5 years, you would have sacked him and he's the greatest of all time. But Dugout Dan, I've got a newsflash for you. Yeah, I was alive when in the Sir Alex Ferguson era. This I'm trying to tell you. Like, even though I don't look it, but I'm in my late 30s. So again, when you're using this nonsense, yeah, I was there in the Ferguson era. So again, we're not in the Ferguson era. So try and get with the times, man. When you're saying in Sir Alex in them first 5 years, you would have sacked him and he's the greatest of all time. For one, he ain't the greatest of all time for me. I don't think he is. You know, he's definitely up there, but I don't think he's the greatest of all time. And again, you're talking to the wrong person by coming out with that. Because I was there for the Ferguson era. You know, I was there. You know, the Eric Cantonas, David Beckham, the Brian McClares, Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Giggs, Yap Stams, David May, Henning Berg, Peter Schmeichel, Ronnie Johnson, Dennis Irwin, Gary Neville. I was Andy Cole, Dwight York, Solskjaer, Sheringham, Jesper Blomqvist, Sebastian Veron. Should I go on? I was there in that era, so you can't come with that nonsense to me. Like, I've seen football. I've experienced football. So the fact that you still want Amorim in charge, you're part of the problem. Yeah, big up Lumi, man. Big up. Big up to Exedra. Big up, bro. Lumi says, does anyone have an update on Isak? I've not seen nothing, but I still think Isak stays at Newcastle. As I said, Newcastle have the power on that one. Yeah, listen, bro. Zedra, no worries, bro. We'll try and sort something for early next week, man. DM me if you can, or give me a comment after the stream, and we'll sort out a day, man. I'm thinking possibly if you can do, I don't know, Tuesday or Wednesday. But yeah, we'll definitely sort something out, man. 100%, bro. We'll do it. We'll definitely do a stream. 100%. Yeah, big up Sham, bro. Listen, if Matty's got his comments, let his comments be seen. You know, only and mods again, only block people, yeah, or ban them if they're abusive. If they're abusive, I ain't got time for it. But if they've got football comments to put in, whether it's disagreeing with me or not, then let there be seen. Because if I see it, I will counteract their comments. So Lumi says, do you have any stories of Jamie O'Hara in the academy when you played with him? I heard he was pretty good. So yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, Jamie O'Hara was signed by. So when I left Chelsea and went Tottenham, Tottenham literally just signed O'Hara from Arsenal for £1 million, and back then it was a lot of money. So again, yeah, Jamie O'Hara is my age, and as I said, he just went into to Tottenham. And again, when he was signed for Tottenham, he was given his pro contract, you know, so he was more or less playing for the older age when he first came, when I first arrived. And again, as a player, you know, he was physically advanced at that age. In terms of his technical ability, obviously he was left-footed as well. He was a decent player, to be fair, but he wasn't, for me, he wasn't like great, but he was more physically developed than someone like myself at that age. And as I said, man, yeah, he was bought for £1 million, which was big money back then for a youth player. You know, and obviously now you guys obviously know he's on Talk Sport and that now. But yeah, I think I played against him Sunday League as well, funny enough. But yeah, at Tottenham, yeah, as I said, he was literally just signed as soon as I went there. Like literally, I think he signed for Tottenham. I want to say about a couple of weeks before I went. A couple of weeks, I think after I went there or before I went there, can't remember. So yeah. So is anyone can do Tuesday? Yeah, bro. Listen, Tuesday, man, we'll do it 100%. I'll organize the stream, and as I said, man, I'll send you the invite 100%. But listen, this can't go on any longer. It cannot go on any longer, man. So yeah, it'll be a good stream, guys. So yeah, Tuesday, me and Exedra, guys. If you guys want to join us, you know, and give us your thoughts and your views, we're gonna be talking about Ruben Amorim, because yesterday was the end for me, man. He has to go. You know, I wanted him gone last season. Did I ever think United would get beat by Grimsby Town? Nah, I didn't, man. So it's crazy business. Gav, what's the real market value of Bruno in your opinion? The real market value? Well, the fact that is he what, 31 now? I think is he 31 now, Bruno Fernandes? The market value of Bruno Fernandes right now, probably about 50 mil, probably, I would say. 50 million, I would say. This is why, when you've got Ineos coming in, I mean, when you've got Saudi coming in and wanting to offer 100 mil, and this club turn it down, what the fuck are they doing? It's crazy. Jay says, by the way, Eze is the most overrated player ever. You got to believe me, guys. Nah, I disagree. Eze is a very good player. Do I think Eze is what Arsenal needed? I don't really, because Eze is only going to be good for Arsenal if they play him in the 10, you know, and give him the freedom. But if that doesn't happen, then yeah, I don't know why he went there. Tottenham, he should have gone Tottenham. Should have gone to Tottenham. He would have worked perfectly for Tottenham. Perfectly, you know. And the fact that he's gone to Arsenal, I mean, in terms of quality, he makes them better. He makes them more threatening quality wise. But for me, yeah, I just don't know, because if Odegaard is fit, Eze has to play from the left. So the only way Eze plays for me and plays in his best position is if Odegaard gets dropped. But is that going to happen? I don't think so. Gav, what do you think your price was in your prime? 100K, my guess. Well, listen, that's not far off, man. That's not far off. I mean, obviously, it's different compared to now. Yeah, it's hard to say, really. It's hard to say, man. But yeah, when I was in the academy, man, I was, I say I was, yeah, I was good, man. I was good. I played in the 10, played as a striker as well. But again, this is a story for another day. And this is the way that English football was back then. I'm left-footed, but they tried to play me on the wing. I wasn't a winger. I was a striker, number 10. But they even at Chelsea, at Tottenham, they were hell-bent on playing me as a left winger for certain reasons that I know why it was. And again, this is a story for another day. But yeah, listen. Yeah, it was crazy back then. It was crazy. I mean, Gav, if Mudryk can go for 100 million, you had a shot at 10 million for sure. Yeah, listen, this whole Bruno Fernandes nonsense, man. I'm tired of it. I'm actually tired of it because, yeah, it's just frustrating. Just get him gone with the manager. Get him gone with the manager, man. Or coach, should I say? Supposed coach. Get them both gone, man. Get them gone. Gav, when I was playing football yesterday and me and my friend were doing two-touch because me and him watched you do it and we tried and I flipped. Yeah, listen, if you guys haven't seen, man, two-touch, the two-touch king over here. Yeah, I love a bit of two-touch, man, football tennis. I do like it, man. Football tennis or two-touch. Yeah, man, love it. Big up, man. Talib Mubarak said hi. Yeah, big up, man, for coming on. So Lumi says, I'm the best girl I know at two-touch. Maybe one day we can film for a short video, Gav. 100%, Lumi, 100%. I hope you put your money where your mouth is. You know what I mean? But yeah, listen, that'll be great, man. Maybe we can touch base sometime, and yeah, we can do that, man. That'd be good. That'd be good. Two-touch football, man. That'd be great. Anyone out there that wants to do two-touch against me, listen, I'm always up for a challenge, man. Whether it's football tennis or whether it's just normal two-touch, let me know, man. I'm up for it. I'm up for it. Question maker YT says, what do you think of the Man City 0 Tottenham 2? Thomas Frank's a very good manager. Am I surprised? I'm not. I said before the game, City at home, I expect them to win. But Thomas Frank's been there for 5 minutes. And just look at what Thomas Frank's done with his team. And again, the way he sets his team up, he's brought in Paulinho and Kudus, two crucial signings for the system. He's a very good manager, man. And again, when you're hearing that this manager needs his players, etc., and all this nonsense, Thomas Frank's got 2 players in, and look how he's changed Tottenham's fortunes already. Because PSG, for large parts of the game, they were the better team. Tottenham, Man City, they beat them 2-0 and deserved to beat them. And they beat Burnley 3-0 at home. And that's a manager that's been there for 5 minutes. But yeah, all we hear is excuses. Yeah, madness. Gav goes in, two-touch meetup where all the mods meet up for an annual two-touch competition. Yeah, that would be sick, man. That would be sick. We got to try and organize that sometime. You know what I mean? Listen, we'll organize that. Let me know the area and we can get that going. That'd be sick. And we'll definitely film that on the live as well. I'm telling you this now, though. You guys better bring your A game because I ain't getting beat. I'll tell you that right now. Big up to Liam Mills says, can you pinpoint what went wrong if it was a combination of things? Yourself for coming on, man, but the combination of things is too much, man. The manager has done too much. He's done too much, man. He's a poor manager, man. He's poor. Yeah, he's poor, man. Yeah, he's poor. Big up, guys. I'm going to move on to Rasmus Hojlund and to Alejandro Garnacho. And again, you know what makes me laugh about... Talib says, back or sack Amorim. Sack him. So listen, Alejandro Garnacho and Ruben and Ruben Amorim and Rasmus Hojlund on the verge of leaving Manchester United. And you know what makes me laugh about these two players, yeah? This is part of the problem, yeah? This fan base tried their best to get us to believe in Hojlund and Garnacho. And now people are seeing what Garnacho's attitude is all about now. There's a lot of fans backtracking. And again, a lot of these fans are always late to the party because like myself and a lot of others have been saying, Garnacho, not only is he not good enough, but he's got a stinking attitude. And now all of a sudden now it's cool to say Garnacho needs to go. He has never been good enough. Never. And I'd argue that of anyone. He's never been good enough. The reason why a lot of fans backed Garnacho is because it was trying to pit Garnacho against Rashford, you know, and pit him against Jadon Sancho. Both players are better than Alejandro Garnacho. You know, the fact that Chelsea want Garnacho is alarm bells, really. But again, if they want to come and take Garnacho, then by all means, because I'm sorry, man, this guy, you know, is just not a good player. At Chelsea, I mean, is he better than Bruno Gittins? Not really. You know, and again, Liam Mills says Garnacho does offer something. What does he offer then, Liam? Let me know. If you think he offers something, let me know. Because again, this is nonsense. All he does really, he's a winning runner. That's all he offers. He's a winning runner. He's a winning runner. You know, he hasn't got no physicality. He hasn't got a great first touch. He's very predictable. Doesn't really have a great shot on him. So tell me what he offers, because I'll tell you, I've just told you what he doesn't offer. You know, and again, Chelsea want him, in my opinion, because they're looking at making a profit off him. Because for some reason, this guy's got he has got a reach. You know what I mean? Which I don't understand. But yeah. Executive says Rio Ingamoha and Max Dowman at 15 are better than Garnacho, Liam. But there you go, man. There you go. Enough said. Enough said. Like, this whole Garnacho nonsense, man, is laughable. And the fact that people now are saying get him out of the club is actually funny, because these are the same people that were trying to. I mean, there's a certain guy that was trying to tell us that this is a guy that will end up at Real Madrid. That just shows you his football knowledge. Because if you think Real Madrid coming for a Garnacho, I'm sorry to say, man, that's never going to happen. If you got the likes of Rodrigo at the moment, Arda Güler, Mastantuono, that can't even get in the team regularly, and then you've got Vinicius Junior and Mbappe, what makes you think they're going to go for a Garnacho? Like, again, and this is the same person now that is crashing it on Garnacho because of his attitude and what he's been doing. Again, a lot of these fans just, they ain't got a clue, man. You know, ain't got a clue. They're just trying to reach to millions of people and lying to them. You know what I mean? About Garnacho can go to Real Madrid. Never. Never. So, yeah, he looking like he's on his way to Chelsea. And Rasmus Hojlund. Again, not going to touch too much on Rasmus Hojlund because obviously going to Napoli, you know, Lukaku's injured. So he's going to Napoli with a view to I think it's an obligation or an option to buy. And I couldn't be any happier, you know, at getting these two players at the club, because these two players, by the majority of this fan base, they were trying to push these guys to being starters at Man United. And if anyone remembers that famous picture of Kobe, Garnacho and Hojlund, very funny, that picture now, isn't it? The only one that stays for me really is Kobe, and rightfully so. But Garnacho and Hojlund, looking like they're on their way, and rightfully so, because if Man United want to be a serious club again, you don't have players like that in your team, because they're nowhere near the level, nowhere near it. So yeah, man, I'm just happy that these two guys are on their way. So those two guys and Amorim, get them gone. Get them gone, man. Liam says, makes me sad looking at that picture now. Mate, listen, I don't know why it makes you sad, man. Let's up the standards, Liam. Let's up the standards. You know, too many fans are trying to do this whole, you know, youngsters or coming through the academy rubbish. You should only be coming through the academy if you're good enough. That's a fact. As much as I love Kobe, I like Kobe Minu and think he's a good player. You know, Kobe for me, like in this team right now, he definitely deserves minutes at how poor this team is. But if Man United were doing anything serious, which they're meant to be doing, then Kobe shouldn't be a regular starter. He should be trying to find his way into the team. But as it stands right now, he definitely deserves to be getting more minutes, no doubt. But as I said, man, it's frustrating, man, to see what this club's become. But Ineos, for me, they can make a big statement, man, and getting rid of this coach. I'm not even going to call him a coach now, actually, because it's quite clear he's not a coach. He hasn't coached anything. If Ineos can get rid of Ruben Amorim and get rid of, you know, Hojlund, Garnacho, then so be it, man. Not so be it. Then it's good. It's good. At least we're going in the right direction. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah, as I said, it's frustrating, man. But I have to just wait and to see what happens. You know, I want this manager gone now. I don't believe he deserves Burnley game. You know, if they're gonna give him the Burnley game and then sack him at the international break, I'm not happy because that could be 3 points wasted. But at least they would have come to the right decision. You know. And as I said, man, that has to be done. No doubt in my mind. No doubt. Again, 4 days left to the end of the transfer window. United, as they always do, are going to make a signing. There will definitely be a signing. I just hope it's Carlos Baleba. Baleba needs to be brought in, man. But whether that happens or not, who knows, man? Who knows? Do I believe United end this transfer window without getting another midfielder in? They can't. They can't is the answer. They can't. Yeah. So I believe it gets done, man. I believe it gets done. I'm remaining optimistic. I am. As Zedra says, it'll probably be Lamon's, Gav, Baleba's next year. Nah, I'm not agreeing to that, man. I'm not gonna let Ineos off for that one. Man United will have the money to get Baleba, I believe. So, because the thing is, I'm not gonna go through this season without them trying to put another bid in. If they put another bid in for Baleba and Brighton turn it down, I'll be like, do you know what? United tried everything possible, but it wasn't meant to be. If they don't put a bid in at least for Baleba, I'll be disgusted. Because next season, you don't get him. You don't get him next season. You know, I was ahead of the curve, really, at the start of the season and last season, saying, get this player in. Because I could see what he's going to become. United became interested too late. So for me, if you're going to be interested now, you have to go and get him. And I believe, as I said, there's 4 days left, 4 or 5 days left. They're going to go and get him. They have to, you know. Big up to Killian8616. As Liam Mills says, Baleba will come in. I think he does as well, Liam. I think he does. Guys, come on. There's 28 of you in there, 22 likes. Smash the like button, guys, and sub to the channel as well. I think I'm only 20 away from 1.5k. So, again, if you're enjoying the content, smash the like button. It's just one press of the button. And make sure you sub to the channel as well. So Faceless Files says, if you know Brighton, you'll need to pay more than what Liverpool paid for Wirtz or very close. Yeah, listen, Faceless, man, I'm under no illusions. That's what it's going to take. That's what it will take. Like, Baleba's going to cost. Whether United pay it all in one, which I don't think they will. If it's an installments, then I'm happy with that, yeah? But he's going to cost... what was Wirtz? Was Wirtz like 120? I think Baleba might cost around that much, that amount as well, and he should, because he's only 21 years of age. He's Premier League proven. You know, as we know, Brighton got 100 mil, 10 mil or 15 mil for Moises Caicedo. So I expect that. And again, United had £100 million bid on the table from Saudi for Bruno. We all know that bid would have been that offer would have been the one that would have got Baleba probably done by now. But again, I'm still remaining optimistic. Liam says Verts up to 150 mil. I think Verts is I think that's the add-ons. The add-ons might be up to that price, but the initial fee I think might have been about 120. Seeing Baleba on the screen now, actually. I think there's gonna be movement on Baleba. I think what Ineos are gonna do, they now know they got to make a statement signing because of what happened last night. So if that's Baleba, let's get it going. Let's get it going. But guys, listen up. Big up yourselves for coming through each and every time. Crawley Eagles just said Javi Simons to Tottenham. Here we go. Nah, no way. I've not seen that. Crawley, if you've got the comments for that, put that in the chat before we wrap. I've not seen that. Javi Simons to Tottenham. Imagine if Javi Simons goes Tottenham and then Chelsea go and get Garnacho. That's laughable. I mean, I'll be happy because get him at the club, but that's laughable. Yeah, Sancho left City. Again, you've got fans that are ill-informed on the Sancho one about City. Some fans actually think that Pep Guardiola got rid of Sancho. This was funny. Sancho chose to leave to go to Borussia Dortmund. Pep wanted to keep Sancho. He chose to leave. But there's fans out there that hate Sancho that will tell you that Pep got rid of him, which is a complete lie. You know? Crawley's saying Romano Twitter. Right, I'm going to check that in a bit. Yeah, big up to Liam. Listen, I believe Liam as well. United are going to make an attempt for Baleba. They have to. So Fabian Hertzler says he's convinced Baleba will stay. Again, the fact that Hertzler's coming out with that means there's something brewing. And again, Man United will have to put a bid in. If Man United don't put a bid in, I'll be more pissed off if they don't put a bid in. Because at least you've got to test Brighton's resolve. So, and I think they'll do that. So yeah, but guys, listen up. Big up yourselves for coming on each and every time. Much appreciated. Again, if you haven't smashed the like button, make sure you do. We got 21 of you at the moment and we got 24 likes. So yeah, make sure you smash the like button and make sure you sub the channel. Guys, by you smashing that like button, it helps the channel to be seen by more people. You know, it's just one press of the button. And as I said, I'm not asking people to come on here to agree with what I've got to say. But I do like dialogue. And again, if I don't agree with your opinion, then again, I'm gonna try and counteract it, you know. But I'm not on here to just be chatting for the sake of it, you know. Big up to Question Maker as well for subbing. But as I said, it's about dialogue, guys, which I enjoy. And again, if you're coming on there and you've got difference of opinion to myself, as long as it's respectful, you know, again, it's what it's about. So it's appreciated you guys coming on there each and every time. And as I said, this channel's growing. It's growing rapidly, which is good. And obviously, it's due to you guys coming on there, all the mods each and every time, contributing to the channel, man. So it's much appreciated. So big up to yourselves. And again, make sure, guys, you check out my posts. I done one this morning on Ruben Amorim. So give that a vote and let me know in the comments. And as always, keep supporting the channel, guys, because the channel is growing. Today's Thursday. Am I back tomorrow? I should be back tomorrow, guys. So no late stream today. But if there's some Carlos Baleba news that breaks today or Ruben Amorim, I will be live, guys. So be sure for that. So if anything, yeah, big up to Faceless Files, man. Appreciate it. If there's any news that breaks tonight, guys, whether it's Amorim, Baleba, or whoever, I'm going to be reacting to that. But only if it's Baleba or Amorim news. But yeah, I should be back tomorrow morning, same time. And again, guys, make sure you guys are, you know, watching all the other content as well, man. Some good videos on there. You know, I done one the other day, actually. I said it's a sit-down one, something a bit different. So, yeah, make sure you guys are checking that out as well. And as I said, me and Exedra, big up to Exedra, we're going to do a stream on Tuesday, so I'm going to schedule that for a time. So keep an eye on that as well. We'll make sure your notifications are on for that one. And obviously, Mondays, as usual, I'm on with Jonas as well. So, yeah, make sure you guys are tuning into that one and help support the channel, guys. So, it's much appreciated each and every time. So, as I said, guys, make sure you smash the like button on the way out. Give me your comments, sub to the channel, and I shall see you guys hopefully tonight if something breaks, and I'm hoping so. Fingers crossed. But big up each and every time, and I'll catch you in a bit. Take it easy.